This is to introduce revered Swami Atmaghananji Maharaj, a senior monk of our order. He joined the Ramakrishna order at our Basavangudi Ashrama in Bangalore, and later he served in many centers like Coimbatore, Madras, and he was the head of our Colombo Center in Sri Lanka for long time. Later, he was the head of our Vivekananda College, Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapeeth in Chennai, as well as the head of our Kanchipuram Center in Tamil Nadu. Now, and also he was looking after the Pondicherry Center also for some time. Now, on our invitation, he has come all the way from Chennai. I request Revered Swamiji to conduct this session for you for 1 hour almost. Afterwards, Dr. Nikita from Nimans, she will tell you about how to keep good health in the old age. That also Dr. Nikita is going to, Nikita Kulkarni, she is telling about it. So these two sessions we have arranged for today's program. So now I request Reverend Maharaj to conduct this session.
सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्निर्दाहिकाशक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया यथाग्निर्दाहिकाशक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपान्ता शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। सर्वविद्यास्वरूपान्ता शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्ण समाज्ञया परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्ण समाज्ञया यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्। यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम् कालिन्दी फुल्लकमले माधवेन क्रीडारत कालिन्दी फुल्लकमले माधवेन क्रीडारत ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं सद्गुरो लोकनायक ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं सद्गुरो लोकनायक सद्गुरो लोकनायक योगानन्द प्रेमानन्दश्च अन्ये वैये च पार्षदाः योगानन्द प्रेमानन्दश्चान्ये वैये च पार्षदाः रामकृष्णगतप्राणाः सर्वान् तान् प्रणमाम्यहम् रामकृष्णगतप्राणाः सर्वान् तान् प्रणमाम्यहम् सर्वान् तान् प्रणमाम्यहम् रामस्वरूप कृष्णस्वरूप रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते रामस्वरूप कृष्णस्वरूप रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते सकलस्वरूप शान्तस्वरूप परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते सकलस्वरूप शान्तस्वरूप परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते दीनरक्षक दीनपोषक रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते दीनरक्षक दीनपोषक रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते दिव्यतनुभव दीनबान्धव परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते दिव्यतनुभव दीनबान्धव परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते रामस्वरूप कृष्णस्वरूप रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते सकलस्वरूप शान्तस्वरूप परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते भगवत्स्वरूप भासुरतेज रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते भगवत्स्वरूप भासुरतेज रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते पापविनाश पावनचरित परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते पापविनाश पावनचरित परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते रामस्वरूप कृष्णस्वरूप रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते सकलस्वरूप शान्तस्वरूप परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते नीरजलोचन निर्मलसदन रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते नीरजलोचन निर्मलसदन रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते पतितपावन पावनचरित परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते पतितपावन पावन नाम परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते रामस्वरूप कृष्णस्वरूप रामकृष्ण नमोऽस्तु ते सकलस्वरूप शान्तस्वरूप परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते परमहंस नमोऽस्तु ते Namavali. I hope you can all follow me. Om Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Om Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Om Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Om Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Mama Gurunath Jaya Gurunath Mama Gurunath Mama Gurunath Sadgurunath Mama Gurunath Sadgurunath Sadgurunath Shiva Gurunath Sadgurunath Shiva Gurunath Shiva Gurunath Jagat Gurunath Shiva Gurunath Jagat Gurunath Jagat Gurunath Shri Ramakrishna Jagat Gurunath Shri Ramakrishna Shri Ramakrishna Jaya Ramakrishna Shri Ramakrishna Jaya Ramakrishna Jaya Ramakrishna Sachidananda Jaya Ramakrishna Sachidananda Sachidananda Brahma Swarupa Sachidananda Brahma Swarupa Brahma Swarupa Avatara Purusha Brahma Swarupa Avatara Purusha Avatara Purusha Shri Ramachandra Avatara Purusha Shri Ramachandra Shri Ramachandra Jagadgurunatha Shri Ramachandra Jagadgurunatha Jagadgurunatha Krishna Swarupa Jagadgurunatha Krishna Swarupa जगद्गुरुनाथ श्रीरामकृष्ण जगद्गुरुनाथ श्रीरामकृष्ण विनायक 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 विघ्न विनाशक विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक शंभ कुमार विनायक शंभ कुमार विनायक शंकरी पुत्र विनायक शंकरी पुत्र विनायक बालगणपते विनायक बालगणपते विनायक परमदयाळ विनायक परमदयाळ विनायक भक्तजनप्रिय विनायक भक्तजनप्रिय विनायक पादनमस्ते विनायक पादनमस्ते विनायक पादनमस्ते विनायक हर हर शंकर शिव शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर शिव शिव शंकर जय जय शंकर महादेवा जय जय शंकर महादेवा हर ओम सदाशिवा हर ओम सदाशिवा हर ओम सदाशिवा हर ओम सदाशिवा आदि कारण आनंद रूप आनंद रूप आदि कारण 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 आनंद रूप ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः नमः शिवाय 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 बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठल 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 हरि नारायण रंग रंग विठ्ठल हरि नारायण रंग रंग विठ्ठल बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठल बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठल गोविंद विठ्ठल रघुमाई विठ्ठल गोविंद विठ्ठल रघुमाई विठ्ठल गोपाल विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल गोपाल विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल श्रीरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल श्रीरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल गोपाल विठ्ठल गोविंद विठ्ठल गोपाल विठ्ठल विठ्ठल श्रीरंग विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल श्रीरंग विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल पंढरीनाथ विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठल. There is a very good, wonderful verse in the Vivek Chudamani. Whereas you all know that very well known shloka, this is Dullabham Trayame Vaitat Devanugraha Hetukam Manushyatvam Mukshatvam Mahapurusha Samshraya. Dullabham Trayame Vaitat. Etat, these three things are dullabham, very rare in the world. What are those three things? Manushyatvam, human life. Mumukshatvam, that is really very rare. Interest in higher life. Human life should not be reduced to animal life. Just eating, sleeping. Human life is not meant for that. God created human life with this idea, with the idea of sacrifice, love. In the Gita you will find God created human being with that spirit of love or tyaga in everyone. Why? With that spirit of love based on tyaga. Without tyaga, love is reduced to desire. If there is no tyaga, that love is reduced to mere expectation. You want to be loved. Instead of loving others, you want to be loved. So God created man with that spirit of love. Sahayajna praja srishtva. Sahayajna praja srishtva. Praja, man. God created human being with that element of yajna. Means yajna we all know, we have seen. They kindle fire and offer ahuti, ghee or leaf or flower or whatever you want to offer to God, you give in the fire, and that consumes whatever you give. It consumes. You directly see. Otherwise, when you go and keep something before God and say some mantra or do some ritual to offer, we do not directly see that God has taken it. We presume that God has accepted it. But in Homa, in Yajna, you repeat the name of God and offer it. Swaha. Krishnaya Swaha, Ramaya Swaha, Ramakrishnaya Swaha. With that mantra Swaha, you offer whatever you want to give God, and that fire consumes it. The God in the name of fire, in the Homa you would have seen, after kindling the fire, we name it Agne Tvam Ramakrishna Namasi. Agne Tvam Shiva Namasmi. Like that, whichever God you want to worship, you invoke him in the fire, then the God whom he invoked, he accepts everything, whatever you give. Directly we see. So that offering, that giving, is an act of love. Is an act of love. Behind that love, there is that element of sacrifice also. So, human life was differentiated from other living beings. The world is, universe is not only meant for human beings. There are plants, trees, and other animals. So many living beings are there. But human life is entirely different from other living beings. Why? Human being alone can do this act of sacrifice. By sacrifice, tyage naike amrutattva manushu. The Upanishad says. Through tyaga, one can attain amrita, immortality, we say. That endless, boundless joy. So, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. So, after examining the world, after examining the worldly life thoroughly, they found out that from this world, through your worldly life, you can never attain immense pleasure, infinite joy, we say. Brahmanandam, Paramasukadam, all those things we say. So, ordinary human life, if it is not based on real love which has tyaga behind it. So, such a life alone can give you immense joy. So, human being alone is endowed with that element of tyaga in him. Otherwise, we find even among animals, plants, we see there is a kind of love between things. Animals love each other. We see plants also. We see how they grow. But man alone can do that act of sacrifice. With that, he attains immortality, we say. That's why Durlabham. Etatu Durlabham. Human birth is Durlabha, Durlabha. They repeatedly said, human birth is Durlabha. Not. And again, this love for knowledge, love for God, love for mukti, or whatever you may say, love for higher life, that is not given to anybody, everybody. We find not all are fitted for that. Pariksha lokanu karmachitan brahmano nirvedam ayat. So the Brahmana means not Brahmana by birth. Brahmana means one who is endowed with all good virtues. Lokanu parishya. He examined life in the world. Examined the life in the world. He examined his own body, his own mind. You will find wonderful verses in the Upanishads. How they thoroughly examined outside world, inner world, the human body. Atmanam rathinam vidhi shariram rathamevatu buddhintu saratim vidhi manapragrahamevacha indriyani hayani aguhu vishayana teshu gocharan atmendriya mano yuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. Very wonderful, very scientific. Our rishis thoroughly, without fear, favor, they thoroughly examined this universe, the man part of this universe, the man's life in the universe, how thoroughly they examined, and they equated this human body with a ratha. Atmanam rathinam vidhi. Shariram ratham. This body is a ratha. And who is riding? Yajamana. Atma. Atmanam rathinam vidhi. The person who is riding this vehicle, this human body, is not mind or intellect or ego or anything. God Himself. God Himself. Atma. So, He is the indweller. Sri Ramakrishna would often sing this song. I am the Ratha. You want the Rathi. You reside, you ride. You ride in this Ratha. So, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Ratham. And Buddhi Sarati. The charioteer, driver. Who is the driver? This is the Buddhi. And this Buddhi, with the help of the reins, that is mind. Mana pragraha mevacha. So the Buddhi, with the help of the mind, he controls the horses. What are the horses? Our five senses. The five senses are compared to the horses. So, if the charioteer is not efficient, skillful, strong, though he may be holding the reins, the senses pull in every direction, because driver is helpless, powerless. There is no strength in him. So though the vehicle is good, strong, the reins are strong, but because the charioteer, he does not know how to run a vehicle. So the horses, the senses, they pull the chariot in any direction it likes. So what happens? The journey ends in some accident. Very beautifully that shloka says. So how beautifully they have analyzed human life, human body. So this body, this human life, this opportunity live a human life is given to manifest, to realize whatever you may say. The God residing within. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. This is the whole of religion. This is the whole of life. Do this by any way you like. Do this by work or worship or psychic control. All the yogas, Swami Vivekananda would say, by one or more or all of them, and be free. This is the whole of religion, he says. So, we saw human birth itself is rare, and again we saw this desire for higher life. Not mere desire, it's not mere desire. This hankering, yearning, Sri Ramakrishna would say, until and unless you have had this yearning, Sri Ramakrishna very often would say, whether you are a Hindu or Christian or Muslim or anybody, whether you worship this God or that God, whether you follow this yoga or that yoga, whatever path you may follow, whichever God you worship, whichever religion you belong to, all these count nothing when compared to the real yearning for God. Do you really want God? Do you really love God? Do you really want to lead a higher life? If that is not present, what does it matter you belong to this religion or that religion? You follow this. So, that mumukshutvam, very often they stress this. This alone can make your life really fulfilled, purposeful, meaningful. In the absence of that, whatever you may in life, they will not give you the total fulfillment. They will not give the total. The Gita also will say the same thing. Once you have attained that, once you have got that, then you have started moving towards your ultimate goal. Not that the overnight I realize I attained that. No. But you have started walking on the correct path to make your life really meaningful, full. So mumukshutvam. Manushyatvam first they said, second is mumukshutvam. And I may have mumukshutvam, but who will give that mumukshutvam to, who will give me that real inspiration to make it more active? Means Mahapurusha Samshraya. Mahapurusha Samshraya. India is, that way is blessed, the birth of numberless saints. You have any number of saints in this land who have realized God, who have poured out their love in a number of songs and stories. So Mahapurusha Samshraya, that also is very rare. Only those who have done some punya in previous birth, they alone get the contact of Mahapurushas. And one may see a Mahapurusha, but he may not have real love for him, respect for him, he may not recognize him. Sri Ramakrishna was living in the Dakshineshwar temple, surrounded by so many. It is a village. Dakshineshwar is a village. So many people were coming and going. So many were employed in the temple. Day in, day out, they were seeing Sri Ramakrishna. They could not understand him. Rather, they took him to be a madman. They could not understand him. That his aspiration, his love for God, his prema bhakti, it was mistook for madness. His prema bhakti was mistook for madness. Ordinary people could not understand. Only a couple of people coming from faraway place, they could understand. They could accept him as their guru. You find very strange. So one may see, one may hear, Shravanayapi bahuryo na labhyaha shrunvantopi baho yamna vidyuhu. Again Upanishad says, you may not know, even knowing, even knowing. Even knowing, you do not appreciate, you do not understand his worth. You do not know how to develop yourself spiritually by sitting at his feet, and no, it's not given to anybody and everybody. They say Buddha had 4 disciples, Christ had 12 disciples, like that Ramakrishna had 16 disciples and a couple of household disciples. Initially, of course, after later on, we find number of people coming. So, these 3 things, human birth and love for higher life, desire for higher life, aspiration for higher life, and company of good guru, or that's why Sri Ramakrishna very often used to say, he very often used to highlight the importance of satsanga, satpurushas. Importance of the Bhagavata, you find nahi ammayani tirtani na devaha chetanojitaha te punanti urukalena yuyam darshana matrataha. Oh, how they have said ammayani nahi ammayani tirtani. Tirtani na ammayani means tirtha. You travel from here so many hundreds of miles to go and take a dip in Ganga water. Why? It is a tirtha. In one way it is water, but you don't see it as water. You see it as tirtha, something holy. Something holy. So also, na devaha chetano jitaha, mritshilaha. What you find, the deity in the temple, is it made of metal or wood or stone or no? Is God, I do not know. But if you analyze, maybe he is made of panchalohas, made of stone or, but as you step into the shrine, you don't see it as a paper or a picture or this. Something we do not know how to explain. God is sitting. You feel a sense of purity, holiness. There is an element of devotion flowering in your mind. Very difficult how difficult to explain. It's not mere stone, it is God Himself is present. Telling this, Bhagavata says, still yet, you have to go to Ganga or Kaveri, or you have to go and take dip again and again to get purified in order to realize God. You have to enter the temple again and again, fall at His feet, offer flower, worship this and that again and again. Te punanti urukalena. They purify you in course of time. But yam darshana matrataha. This is Lord Shiva. He is telling the Rishi. Yam darshana matrataha. But just meeting you, that is enough. Seeing you, meeting you. Immediately, the whole mind is purified. See how the satsanga, how satpurushas, how they have been so much venerated. So Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. So very often Sri Ramakrishna would say, company of holy people. Seek holy company. Seek holy company. So without your knowledge, when you go and take a dip in Ganga, body automatically gets purified. Mind also gets purified. You do not know how that change takes place. You may not know. You may not know. Though it may be, however little it may be. However little it may be. But there is that change going on within. So this Satsanga Sri Ramakrishna very much highlighted. You will find repeatedly. So these three things are rare in this world. These three things are rare in this world, you see. So God comes into the world, takes human birth in the world to instill that love of God in people like us. Those rare people, we need not feel. It is not. It is not in ego, not in the egoistic way. I'm telling. This is a blessed. Yeah, God. Already we have got the blessings of God. I should say. It is His blessing, rare blessing. So, God takes human birth in order to sow that seed of love in few rare souls and gives them this satsanga, holy company. So these three, Manushyatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurusha Samshraya, are rare in human life. And in the absence of these two, Mumukshutvam and Mahapurusha Samshraya, human life degenerates into animal life. You have no control over that. What controls the mind, what controls the buddhi, what transforms the ego? Love of God alone, love of God alone. Yam labdhva aparam labham nadikam manyate yasmin stitona dukkena gurnapi vichalyate. These are all tested truths, not mere words. Yam labdhva aparam labham nadikam manyate, attaining which nothing else remains to be attained in the world. You attained everything. Once you have got that love of God, you have attained everything else in this world. Getting things means what? To satisfy some want in life, to fulfill your heart, your desire. But God's love fulfills all our desires. There is nothing more to desire for in this world. That gives the total fulfillment. So, yam labdha aparam labh. That love is not given to anybody and everybody. So many people are going to the temple, doing worship, offering worship and all. Not all are endowed with that real love for God. What is that real love? I do not expect anything from God except love for Him. Love for love's sake. To ask God only for bhakti, that's very difficult. That is very difficult. All cannot do that. Only those who have earned, as I said, punya, Those who already undergone all they have gone through the life, they have gone, seen through the life, nothing more to achieve in this life, nothing more to enjoy in this life. They have found out that life is insipid, life is impermanent. Only in such people that real seeking for God, real desire for God's love, it is born. So, yam labdha aparam labham na adhikam manyate. So, not everyone is endowed with that love, only a selected few. Again, among the few, you again coming to Gita, among the few, manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhana kaschinmam veti tattvata. So, hundreds, among the thousands and thousands, maybe a few hundred see God, and even among the few hundred, only a few really attain. This is how beautifully human life has been explained in our scriptures. So, human life should not be wasted. Sri Ramakrishna would say, doesn't matter, enough water has flowed in this river of life. You have lost so many things, doesn't matter. Even now there is time to put a dam. Even now there is time to put a dam and accumulate the strength of your mind, direct your mind, strength, increase the strength, increase your love for God. Now you have gone through life, you have seen through life, so many experiences, good and bad. All have come and gone. All come and gone. Life is like that, it comes and goes. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, dinaya minyo sayam prataha. We find in the Bhajagovinda. So, morning, evening, night, it goes on, it goes on, goes on. Summer, winter, rainy, it goes on like that. Like that, punarapi jananam, punarapi marana, punarapi janani, generation. It goes on, goes on, goes on. So many lives have gone, doesn't matter. At least now I am given this opportunity. I have been blessed by the Lord. I have been blessed by the Lord. With that element of love for Him. It is His grace. So that we have to protect and allow it to grow in us. And what is the easy way to grow it? Be in the Sangha of Satpurushas. Be in the Sangha of Satpurushas. Be with them. Sri Ramakrishna would say, as you go near the fire, you feel its heat. You need not ask the fire. You need not direct the fire. Going near itself, you experience its heat. Similarly, in the presence of Satpurushas, in such holy places, your mind automatically, however little it may be, it feels a kind of purity, holiness, peace within. People have expressed how they have felt that. So that is the power of holy company. So God takes birth to offer His holy company. He comes closer to us. Shri Ramakrishna says, God is present always, everywhere, but still He is in the temple also. Archamurti, so we say. So, Archavatara. But He comes in the human form also, so that you feel Him still closer. How He moved with the people around Him so closely, intimately. He shed tears for the devotees. It's not that devotees shedding tears for Avatara Purusha. Avatara Purusha shedding tears for the devotee. Feeling so much eager to serve them. Sri Ramakrishna ran ran after devotees. We know how he ran after Narendra. Not only Narendra, householders, how he loved them. There are stories. So he comes closer to give his holy company so that we are uplifted, we are purified without our knowledge. We do not know how we are being changed. I am not changing myself, he is changing. How we are being changed by him. How he is filling our heart with that pure joy. So these three things, holy human birth and mumukshutvam and Mahapurusha, Sangha of holy company. These things we have obtained. Let us make use of it still, still in a better way. Make use of it still in a better way. The more you come here, what we have to do, we have to take that much effort only. That much effort to come and sit. The rest he will do. Of course, he is present in the house also, and is ever present in our heart also. There is no question about that. Still, holy places have their own vibrations, their own influence. With these few words, let us pray that He will continue to keep us under His divine grace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
We are grateful to Revered Swami Atmagananchi Maharaj for sharing his thoughts about the how to live in the happy life in the old age. Now we'll have a talk by Dr. Nikita Kulkarni. She is presently Assistant Professor of Psychiatry in Department of Psychiatry in Nimans. She did her MBBS from Kempegowda Institute of Medical Science and later MD in Psychiatry and secured first rank in NTR University of Health Sciences. So we have request her to talk to you about the how to keep the mental health and related topics. Please. You want stand mic or this is enough?
Uh, Good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Nikita, and I thank the Ramakrishna Mutt for giving me the opportunity to be here today and talk to you all about healthy aging and the positive aspects of aging and how we can age better. So, to make it a little more interactive, is there something from all of you? I want to know that how do you think that we can age better, and what would you think the barriers you're currently facing? It's a very informal discussion. I would really like to hear your thoughts about this. Yes, sir. Yes. Peace of mind. Okay. Anything else? Memory issues. Okay. Anything else? All right. So I think they are very important concerns what you have raised about peace of mind and memory issues. So first of all, why are we talking about healthy aging? Why are we talking about living well as we age? Because the population in India and in the world, the aging population above 60 is increasing exponentially. By 2030, that is 4 years from now, one in every sixth person in this world will be above 60 years. So the aging earlier, if you look back to the pre-independence or the independence times, life expectancy was not this much. With the advancing medical technology, with the advances in nutrition and other advances in the country, with the green revolution, with better facilities, the human health has bettered. We have combated many diseases and we are able to live much better. So now the question comes is that how can we make our lives much more enriching as we age? So the World Health Organization says that what is healthy aging is as we age, functionality has to be retained. And what we mean by functionality is how we move, how we take our own decisions, how we are able to participate in the society, how we have a sense of autonomy, how we have work, we have relationships, we have hobbies, we have personal interests. All of this to be able to do on our own is what defines healthy aging. So, how do we go about this? What are the important parts that we need to do to be able to have the peace of mind, like ma'am has told, or overcome some memory issues? So, first, I'll briefly talk about what we need to be able to age better. And then I will explain about some of the disorders that we can have, like Sir said, memory issues or depression or dementia, and how we can identify them and seek help if required. So, the first and foremost, I think this has been given a lot of importance in today's day and age is movement and mobility as we age. One of the myths of aging that all of is being everybody feels is real is that, you know, as we age we should decrease our levels of activity, decrease our levels of physical activity, but it is actually the opposite. the as we age we should be able to maintain the same level of activity. It need not be with the same intensity like how one did in their 20s or 30s, but definitely able to do all your activities on your own, right? And by movement, physical walks, doing yoga. Today incidentally happens to be World Yoga Day also, so engaging in yoga, physical activity, some basic amount of strength training where it enables you to strengthen your muscles. So what this essentially does is helps you in your daily activities, like getting up from the floor, getting up from the chair, taking something from the shelf. So maintaining movement, balance and physical activity in whatever capacity we can. We also understand that as we age a lot of us have many disorders, be it diabetes or hypertension, or we might have had some falls. You know, we are prone to injuries as we age. Whatever capacity, just because we have any of these conditions does not mean that it should decrease our mobility or limit the amount of movement that we can do. In whatever capacity we can, even if one is not able to move too much, sitting in a chair, a lot of exercises can be done, which helps to retain your muscle mass. And once you retain your muscle mass, it helps to retain your strength and it prevents you from being prone to injuries as well. So movement is one very important factor. Second, coming to nutrition. Again, a lot of people believe that as we age, we should eat much lesser, we should restrict the amount we eat. Yes, no, of course, the amount of metabolism definitely does decrease as we age, but the protein intake is something that is very essential, especially as we age. After the third decade, once one enters the 30s, there is a gradual decline in muscle mass, about 10% in every decade. So to be able to stop that, protein intake in any form in every meal is very important. Focusing on good hydration, good fiber and good nutrition, especially a balanced ratio of proteins, carbohydrates and good healthy fats is very important to keep our health in an optimal way, so that we prevent other diseases from affecting us and reducing our functional capacity. So this is about diet and exercise. And the third thing is maintaining our cognitive abilities, right? And the way to do that is first and foremost engaging in with people. Many people after enter their retirement stage after 60, they don't have regular office or regular jobs to go to, and it leads to some amount of decrease in social interaction. And that's where communities like this, like coming to mathas or doing activities together, play such an important role in giving a sense of togetherness and responsibility. Spirituality is a great way to ensure that we have some purpose and we don't lose the sense of purpose that we have in our lives as we are growing. So meeting people on a regular basis, especially in India, we have so many cultural communities, we have laughing clubs, we have so many parks where people go and meet up regularly, discuss about current affairs and everything that is happening. This helps to keep our minds also very sharp. And engaging in other activities like solving puzzles, engaging with a younger generation, playing with your grandchildren, all of these activities help to keep us sharper and help to maintain our cognitive abilities, because all of us know any kind of misuse or not using any organ of the body decreases the ability to use it further and further. So, actively participating in social interactions, going out, participating in functions, in religious activities, or whatever it is that you all connect with, becomes very important to have that sense of self and autonomy, right? And also, uh, maybe taking up all of the hobbies that you were not able to take because of the life responsibilities that you had. Another myth that people believe is that as we grow old we can't learn new things, our ability to do things is much lesser. It's not actually true. Some aspects, maybe we might take longer in some aspects to learn complex tasks, but experience and wisdom in fact improves a lot of cognitive abilities if we compare a 20-year-old with, say, a 70-year-old. So, for example, it may be learning a new language, right? Or it may be taking up a hobby which you have left, like maybe drawing, painting, singing, solving puzzles. It can be anything. So all of these activities help. Learning new things is always better because it improves your brain's capacity, it improves the brain's plasticity. Plasticity is the growth and modulation of the neurons that are existing. We don't grow new neurons, but we can definitely train and retrain the existing neurons. And this is true for people even who have neurological disorders, even with people who have had stroke, people who have Parkinson's, people who have any sort of dementia also. We give them exercises to something. In people with dementia, we do something called as cognitive retraining. For example, if someone with dementia is forgetting, we ask them to write it down in big letters. I'll talk about it a little later, so that they keep remembering this. So learning new things is something which is very important to have a sense of purpose. And understandably, many of the older generation has disorders like diabetes or hypertension or any infectious disorders, obesity. Keeping a check and getting these treated is very important to promote healthy aging, right? Just because one has diabetes or one has hypertension, it doesn't really mean that it has to limit or reduce our ability to do things. One can always work towards maintaining it at a acceptable level so that it doesn't interfere with our daily activities. So regularly visiting the doctor, regularly getting your physical health checkups done, so that if there is anything that is out of control, your vitamin levels, regular exposure to sunshine, fresh air becomes very important to be able to maintain the overall nutrition. So these are some of the things that are very important to ensure that we age in a healthy manner. Now, coming to the second part, that I would like to talk about some of the disorders and what are the signs and symptoms that can occur in the older age group. So, we commonly have disorders like dementia, as all of you know, as Sir was pointing out about memory issues. One can have depression or anxiety disorders. I'll briefly talk about the signs and symptoms of this so that it helps us to identify them better and we can seek timely help when required. So, all memory problems are not dementia. That is the first good news. And it is another myth that as the age increases, people tend to forget or forgetting is normal. That is also not true. So, how do we differentiate whether this is a normal forgetfulness of aging or it is something more serious, right? Forgetting the day or date once, misplacing things once in a while, not remembering what you did last night, not remembering what you did last week once in a way, or not remembering some procedure to do a complex task once in a while is normal. It does not mean that the person has dementia or the person has cognitive impairment. What are some of the signs of dementia that one can pick up? Usually, in the early stages, it starts with constantly or frequently forgetting things. And this can come in the form of misplacing things. To give a simple example, they can forget where they have kept the keys, or where they have kept the newspaper, or whether they have locked the door. And what happens is, because they are not aware of this problem, right? For example, let's say they have forgotten where they have kept some money, some 500 rupees they have taken out from their cupboard and they have kept it somewhere. Because they are not aware that they have a memory problem, it might commonly come across and say that somebody has stolen it, or somebody has taken away my money, it has been lost somewhere. And what happens is this leads to a lot of confusion with family members, because the person who has dementia will never complain that they have memory issues because they will not be aware of it. No, not having awareness about the memory issue is a classical sign in dementia. Recently, just yesterday, a patient was telling me that a friend told her that her mother had passed away, 6 months back. And in the last 6 months, many times she has asked the friend, "How's your mother? How's your mother doing?" And it became very embarrassing because the friend said, "I've already told you that she passed away." So she was not aware that she has forgotten. And once she told them, they said, "Okay, it's quite embarrassing." Many times, suddenly a lot of complaints increase that maids are stealing things, somebody has come and taken away my things. But people in the family say, "No, nothing is stolen, they have kept it and forgotten." But they will not remember that they have kept it. So it's very difficult for them to accept also that they have forgotten certain things, right? So, and this is one aspect, that persistently they might forget things. The other important symptom that you can see, they might forget that they have eaten their meals. They will say, "No, you have not given me anything to eat. You never gave me." They will repeatedly keep asking. So this leads to a lot of confusion in the family members. And what most caregivers of people with dementia find is that they are able to remember everything that happened in the past, in college, in childhood, at their work, something that happened 40 years ago very well. But they forget what has happened 1 week ago or yesterday. So, this is what classically happens in dementia, because the human mind, how it works is that the memories that you learn first in your life are lost last. And what you learn very recently are the ones to go first. That is why family members find it so puzzling that how is it that this person can remember something that is 40 years ago and not even remember something yesterday. So I don't think this person has a memory problem. This person is just pretending, or this person is just lying. So they tend to identify things very late. Gradually, as the dementia progresses, you will see other things like they will forget words in conversations. They might normally be conversing and they will not be able to remember what word they have to say. Like, for example, if they want to say newspaper, they will say, "I was reading this in that," but they will not be able to remember the word. Forgetting words in conversations, forgetting the way. Many times, because they don't have an insight, or they are not aware that they have memory issues, they go out thinking, "Okay, I'll buy vegetables or I'll go meet someone," and suddenly this person is lost. They are not able to recognize where they are or how to get back home. So this can be quite distressing for the person themselves. Gradually, the other important sign that you can see is they seem very unaffected, or their emotional responses can seem very blunt. You give them some happy news, you give them some shocking news, you will see that there is no reaction. And this might be someone who is a very emotional person. You say, "What has happened? Why is this person not reacting at all?" This is very surprising. So, these are some of the signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's dementia. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. There are other forms of dementia, like, for example, we have the frontotemporal dementia, where it can manifest much earlier, where you will see there are personality changes. Someone who is a very quiet individual, someone who is a very social individual, suddenly becomes very angry, very irritable, doesn't talk much. There can be significant changes in their personality, and we are not understanding why this is happening. So, if these changes are happening persistently, they stop doing their daily activities. A lady of the house who is involved with responsibilities like cooking, cleaning, or shopping suddenly stops doing all of that. They start making mistakes in cooking, how much salt to put, whether salt has been put in the food, whether they have put the masala or not. So, they start forgetting these things. And acceptance for them is very difficult, because our memory is something that defines us, right? Our memory is us. So for them, when we tell them that, "Listen, you seem to be forgetting things," it's not very easy for them to accept. So some sensitivity from the family member side is also important whenever we see that, okay, this person seems to be forgetting things very frequently. So when these are happening persistently and gradually increasing over time, it might be possible that they might have a memory problem. Otherwise, usual forgetting does not manifest like this. So, this is usually how dementia manifests in the old age group. The second important disorder that we see in the geriatric age group is depression. So, does anybody know how depression can look like in older age group or in anyone for that matter? Any idea? Okay. So depression in older age group, many people again think that, once people become older, once they are in their 70s or 80s, it's normal to feel sad. It's normal to withdraw from activities. It's normal to socially withdraw. That is not necessarily true. So in older people, depression can manifest with forgetfulness. Many people who have constant forgetfulness, they might actually be having depression. The other important symptom of depression can be a lot of body pains. Everything is evaluated. You have gone to all doctors, you have gone to orthopedics, you have gone to physician, but nothing is wrong. Still, they have some pain. And if you actually, what happens is that there is what we call as the mind body connection, right? Many times the symptoms in the mind, if they're not able to verbalize, and it is something which is culturally rooted. In India, if somebody says that, we are feeling very low, we don't feel like working, what is the usual response? You'll be fine in a few days, just get over it. But the moment the person stops working, has a lot of body pains, they are taken to the doctor. So, body pains is constant, frequent body pains, unexplained body pains without any recognizable medical cause can be depression. The other complaints can be they might not be interested to do anything what they usually do, or they are not bothered. There is neither sadness nor happiness. The other symptom what we see in the older generation is they feel something is grossly wrong with them. Something is wrong with my body, my intestines are rotting, I'm not able to pass motion. And this can be very, very distressing, so much so that we have seen individuals become even very agitated or aggressive because they feel something is so wrong with them. This is what we call as agitated depression. So, any behavior which lasts for more than 2 weeks, where they don't feel like their usual self, they are not interested to do anything, they have a lot of memory issues, they are not eating well, they are not sleeping well, they feel something is grossly wrong with them, they could be having depression. And the good news is what happens many times it gets detected very late in people because they don't accept or they are not able to recognize that something is wrong with them, and family members feel this is a normal part of aging. Maybe with age this is how this person is changing, so they don't necessarily bring that to medical attention. And we have seen remarkable responses when this person is treated. Or we have seen people who have tried to commit suicide but come to the hospital, get their depression treated, and be almost normal as they were before. So this is how depression can look like in older age. In fact, many people think that forgetfulness is only there in dementia. It is much more common in depression. Any questions you ask, most of their answers is I don't know, I don't remember, right? So this is about depression. The other disorder which people with older age can have is anxiety. So how can anxiety manifest? They are always worried. They are worried that something is going to happen. My son has gone to office, he is not going to come home, or he's going to meet with an accident. There is so much work to do, how am I going to manage? You will see that what is wrong with this person? All these days they were completely okay, and now they are worrying about these small things which is out of proportion to how they were. So this is how anxiety can manifest. So these are briefly about some of the disorders that I wanted to talk about and how they can present in the older age group. Some of the risk factors for both dementia and depression can be diabetes, hypertension, chronic disorders which are uncontrolled, loss of mobility, poor nutrition, poor sleep. So, which is why I spoke about addressing these factors earlier, because addressing these factors can also prevent disorders like dementia. In fact, the WHO has issued a statement about what are the preventable risk factors for dementia, and one of them is controlling your cholesterol levels. So, good control of cholesterol, addressing visual impairment, hearing impairment. Many people in old age have this, but family members say it's okay, it's normal. And they also are not very, they say, okay, with age, I can't see properly, I can't hear properly. But these impairments, these problems can make them more prone to developing depression and dementia, which is why it is so important to address these. Mobility, addressing your visual impairment, sensory impairment, All of this becomes very important, especially in the old age, to maintain good health. So once we address all of this, once, and like Swamiji was earlier saying, spirituality is a great way of finding meaning in life, right? It gives us a sense of purpose, and that sense of purpose is often enough to keep one going, because many people after retirement, that is gone. They don't meet people that frequently, they don't get up and have something to look forward to the day. It's not a compulsory thing that, like how it used to be when they were working or when they were doing activities earlier. So retaining that sense of autonomy and purpose as we age is very important. So, and this is how I think one can maintain their peace of mind, maintain their memory and cognitive abilities that they have had. And these aspects of positive aging and healthy aging is what helps them to be fit both emotionally, physically, spiritually until the end of life. So these are my few words about this topic. I would be happy to answer any questions or any queries if you all have. Or otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Sorry, sir. Constant? Yes. 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 It could be, sir. There are a variety of reasons for sleep disturbances. It can be anxiety, it can be depression. It needs to be evaluated in detail. Many times, what happens, there is a condition called as obstructive sleep apnea, or snoring, what we call. When you snore in the night, the quality of sleep gets affected very badly, and they are not able to sleep also. So there can be many conditions which are underlying sleep disturbance. If once all of this is ruled out, yes, it can only be a sleep disturbance which has to be treated, but it could be underlying to psychiatric disorders as well. And you rightly put it that this person can have no problem in any other aspect of life, because depression and anxiety, there can be milder forms of it also, where the person is going to office regularly, doing all their responsibilities, and yet they can have depression or anxiety. It is possible, sir. And most of the psychiatric disorders or neurological disorders, the first manifestation that comes is change in sleep. Yeah. So I think a detailed evaluation will definitely help us understand what might be the underlying cause. So I wouldn't say a classical sign of depression, but it is seen in many people with depression or anxiety. Yes, it could be a possibility. There are many possibilities for disturbed sleep, so it would require a detailed evaluation. Yes. Yes. So, if we see that all non communicable diseases, as we know, it can be hypertension, diabetes, cancer, or lifestyle disorders, including psychiatric illnesses, a genetic component may have a role. So, by what I mean to say is that if there is a family history of depression, there is a likelihood that the child can develop depression. But it is always an interaction between the genetic, the environmental factors, and the biological, which is their own factors. So it's always a interaction between all of these three which will determine if this person will have depression. Like if, say, a person has depression, and he's had very severe depression, and he has three children, three of them might not have depression at all, or one person very late in their life might have depression. So it's not a rule that the children will have it, but yes, there is a definite possibility that they can have some effects. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that is what we classically call as the empty nest syndrome, because I think especially in the Indian culture, there is a lot of meaning attached to the children's upbringing and the relationship with them. I think understanding one thing which troubles parents or many people is that, I mean, we have invested so much in this relationship. Now there is nothing to look forward to because physically they are there. Yes, they might call, they might come and visit, but that physical connection is something that a lot of parents miss, that you rightly put it. First, accepting and understanding that it is okay to feel that way, and secondly, trying and seeing that how we can find meaning in other areas of life while addressing that. Yes, I do feel like this, but trying and finding meaning in other areas of life, finding other social circles, finding other activities which can give meaning. I think that is something that we could work on. Yes. 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 So I think, if I understand correctly, I think she has been like this from the time you know her to some extent. Yeah, right. So this is what we call as being part of the personality. Everyone has a personality, the way we behave, the way we think, what defines us. You will see that some people don't care about what others say, but some people, even very small things, will tend to really bother them and affect them. So, and like you said, it is not something which is entirely in her control. When she gets those kind of thoughts, or when she is really bothered by it, it is really affecting her, that is making her feel, emotionally not okay or emotionally distressed, which might be one of the reasons why, like you said, that might be contributing to her disturbed sleep, because she's thinking about it too much. I would just like to say two things. One thing is that it is not something which is entirely in her control. So by just saying, don't think about it, it's okay, might not really help her, even if she wants to do that. And second thing, therapy is something that, after a detailed evaluation, through therapy, we can understand that what is it that bothers her so much about what is said by other people, or why is it that she is so distressed about it, while, hey, you seem that it's okay, they said it. I mean, many people say, but what is it that's affecting her so much? So through therapy, or what in common terms is called as counseling, where the therapist meets this person, tries and understands why the person thinks the way they do, and then trying to see how to make them comfortable. Or after a detailed evaluation, if there is something else which is underlying and treatable, we could definitely help with that as well. Yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to address, I think I forgot to say that many people are very scared to go to the psychiatrist, because they feel once the person takes psychiatric treatment, it is lifelong. Again, not true. Not true at all. There are many cases where we start medication and we have stopped the medication. The second myth that people think that once medications are given, it is addictive, or they will give sleep medications. Yes, in a lot of people, do we give medications to help them sleep? We do. Because sleep, like I said earlier, that is the first thing that is affected when a person has a psychiatric issue. Are all sleep medications addictive? No. Some sleep medications addictive? Yes, they are, but that is only when the person takes it on their own without medical consultation. Usually, when it is under medical supervision, it is given in a proper prescribed manner, and we gradually take it off as well. Many people delay treatment thinking that going to a psychiatrist means it's a moral failure, that they are of weak mind, or they were able to do this earlier, but why am I not able to do it now? All of these are myths which, science has broken and said anybody at any age, stage, culture, race, social, economical background can be afflicted with a psychiatric disorder. It is not limited to people with a so-called weak mind. There is nothing called, with a weak mind. I mean, how many times do all of us have a cold in our lifetime? Hundreds of times, no? Does it mean that we have a weak nose? It doesn't, right? So similarly, we need to also understand that having a psychiatric disorder does not mean it cannot be treated, doesn't mean it's a moral failure, or the person has a weak mind, and it doesn't mean that they will not be able to get back to who they were. Okay. So, with these words, I would like to conclude. And I would also like to inform all of you that we are running a project at NIMHANS called as Enigma, where we do a screening for people with memory issues, and if they are found to have signs of dementia or mild cognitive impairment, we do their MRI scanning because it's a part of a research project. We do their blood tests. So if any of y'all are interested, or you can spread the word to who you feel some people might have these issues, they're always, they can come to NIMHANS, and all of this is covered free of cost. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nikita Kulkarni, for your discourse on how to maintain this mental health. So we are thankful to you, and also Dr. Shiv Kumar, he was referred to you for giving this talk. Now, as a token of appreciation, we are giving few books for your studies. ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोश्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरहे सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Last few months, we have been discussing about the householder devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. And out of this series of talks, now, since yesterday, we are discussing about Manmohan Mitra, a householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Yesterday, we discussed about how his early life and how he came in contact with Sri Ramakrishna, how his ego got hurt and he did not come to Sri Ramakrishna. Later, Sri Ramakrishna himself went to him, thereby he changed himself completely and he devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. So, this is so much we discussed about it. To his devotion to Sri Ramakrishna, his mother also contributed a lot. Once it so happened, through trials and tribulations, God tests the faith of his devotees. Once Manmohan's eldest daughter, Manik Prabha, was seriously ill. So he decided not to go as usual to Dakshineshwar. His mother asked him, "Will you not go to visit the master today?" "How can I go, mother?" Manmohan replied. "You are going to the master," said Shama Sundari, that is, mother of Manmohan Mitra, "whose name removes all evil. I can assure you that while you are visiting him, no disaster will happen here. Please go to him now, right now. Who can stop death? This is the time for you to show your faith. He who remains unperturbed, surrendering everything to God, is a man of faith. Please don't misuse the time. Go to the master. This is how Manmohan Mitra's mother says. When Manmohan's wife noticed that he was getting ready to leave for Dakshineshwar, she became very upset and scolded him, saying, "Our daughter is dying, and you are going off to Dakshineshwar." But Manamohan was not deterred since he had tremendous respect for his mother's words. As he was about to leave, his mother said to him, "Please inform the master about of your daughter's illness and bring a little dust from that place where the master meditates." How can I talk about my daughter's illness to the master? What are you so afraid of? You are a child of God. You are supposed to tell him of your sufferings so that he can remove them. How can I discuss these mundane things with the master? This was the Manmohan was telling. You won't have to tell him verbally. Go to him and mentally inform him. He is all knowing. He will understand your pain, and then everything will happen according to his will. Such was the conviction of the Manmohan's mother. When he arrived at Dakshineshwar, Manmohan bowed down to the master and seated himself among the devotees. In the course of the conversation, master said, "Today, while a man was getting ready to come here, his wife angrily said some harsh words to him. That day, Sri Ramakrishna talked for some time about renunciation. This helped to take Manmohan's mind off the thought of his sick daughter and gave him strength. He had felt that his daughter would not leave, but by the grace of the master, she recovered. Once Manmohan and a friend decided to attend the car festival of Jagannath at Mahesh, which is a miles away north of Dakshineshwar and across the Ganga. Since they had a great desire to take Sri Ramakrishna with them, they rented a boat that morning in Calcutta and stopped first at Dakshineshwar. When the master saw them, he asked them where they were going. "Sir, we are going to see Lord Jagannath at Mahesh." Just like Puri Jagannath Yatra in Mahesh also, they have that car festival. "Sir, we are going to see Lord Jagannath at Mahesh," replied. Mahesh is a place name. Replied Manmohan. To Manmohan's surprise and joy, master said, "Then I shall go with you." The master immediately began to get ready and asked his nephew Ramlal to accompany them. At Mahesh, seeing Lord Jagannath on the chariot, Sri Ramakrishna went into Samadhi. Manmohan and the others brought him to a safe place away from the crowd. Afterwards, they visited the 12 Krishna temples at Ballapur and Annapurna temple at Barakpur. So Manmohan sincerely tried to follow the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. He used to cry to God profusely, but still he did not get any vision of God, nor did he have peace of mind. Hearing of his mental agony, Sri Ramakrishna one day said to him, "Why are you so impatient? Everything happens in course of time. It takes time for fruit to ripen, for an abscess to mature. Divert all of your attachments to God, and He will be revealed to you." Because many times we also feel that very inspiration by reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and pray to God intensely. But many times we don't get the immediate results. We think this very much desperate. For that, Sri Ramakrishna here, his answer is very appropriate. Why are you so impatient? Everything happens in course of time. That's why in a Kannada there is a song by Kanakadasa. "Tallanizadiru kandya talu manave, ellaranu salahuvanu, ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ತುದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರುವ ವೃಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಕಟ್ಟೆಯನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ನೀರೆರೆದವರು ಯಾರು?" The plant which has grown on the top of the hillock, who has put the water? Have you put all the surrounding for the watering plant and other things? No, God Himself has done. Like that, there are so many instances God Himself is providing everything to human beings. So that's why, and also if you put a sapling, a small plant, then if you immediately say, for example, mango plant, your sapling you are putting, you have to wait till it gets grown into a big tree and give fruits. So that's why this waiting period is very, very important. In Sri Krishna also says about Kalen Atmani Vindati. Everything happens in time. There is another story about it. If you sit under a Kalpataru tree, you will get the fruits because it will ripe and it will fall and you will take. But if you want immediately, you are so hunger that you are hungry so much, you want to eat now itself, then they say you shake the tree and the fruits will fall and you will be able to eat. That much, that effort is necessary from our side, but all other things God will take care of it. So here Sri Ramakrishna says, why are you so impatient? Everything happens in course of time. It takes time for fruit to ripen or for an abscess to mature. Divert all your attachments to God and He will be revealed to you. This is one of the principal teachings Sri Ramakrishna gave Manmohan Mitra. Sri Ramakrishna was once invited to attend festival of Harisabha in Konnagar, Manmohan's village, but since he could not go, he sent Ram and Manmohan there. Ram, that is Ramchandra Datta. Ram gave a lecture entitled What is True Religion? This was followed by devotional singing which lasted until midnight. A crowd, a large crowd sang and danced in an inspired mood, encircling Ram and Manmohan. Manmohan lost outer consciousness and did not regain it until the next day. Later, Ram and Manmohan came to know that the Master had transmitted spiritual power to them. Even if you read the Gospel, sometimes he prays to Divine Mother, Mother, you give some power to Ram and others so that they can preach what you are teaching them, like that. So that's why here Ram, when he gave a talk, and also Manmohan had ecstasy, outer consciousness he lost. Once on a certain festival day, Manmohan's mother, Shama Sundari, was about to lose body consciousness while listening to the evening kirtan at Ram's house. Immediately she called Manmohan to her and told him privately, Listen, my son, today during the festival I shall give up my body. I shall leave this world while listening to the Lord's name. Please don't tell this to anyone, and let there be no obstructions to the festival. Manmohan bowed down to his mother, and then rejoined the kirtan. In obedience to her last wishes, he did not express to anyone the terrible grief he was feeling. Meanwhile, Shama Sundari passed away. Ram and a few neighbors heard the sad news when the festival was over. That much that is there always when a family has got a devotee family means that mother's role is very much there. Here also, Manmohan's mother's devotion plays a very important role in building Manmohan's spiritual life. There is a saying, if a person wants God, God takes away everything from him. And if that person continues to love him, God becomes his slave. Manomohan passed through ordeal after ordeal. Shortly after his mother passed away, one of his daughters also died. When one of his friends tried to console him, he replied, Everything happens according to the Master's will. What do we know about His will? He knows what is good for us. Bless me that so that I may never go against His will. That was his attitude in later days, how he surrendered to the will of Sri Ramakrishna. When Sri Ramakrishna was ill at the Kashipur Garden House, Manmohan remained in Calcutta so that he could visit him and serve him as far as possible, because he had house in Calcutta as well as in Konnagar, but because of Sri Ramakrishna's illness, he stayed back at Calcutta house. According to his means, he gave money to the master's support for the master's support. Once in a letter to his wife who was living at their home in Konnagar, Manmohan wrote, Be careful how you spend money. Don't misuse a single penny. Otherwise, we shall not be able to serve the master properly. We now need a lot of money for his maintenance because of cancer, Sri Ramakrishna was staying at Kashipur, and naturally the rent of the Kashipur garden house and the treatment and all the food expenses, lot of money was necessary. These devotees like Ramchandra Datta and Girish Chandra Ghosh and this Manmohan Mitra, they were sharing all the response than other devotees. That's why he was so careful about spending money, and he's instructing his wife also, don't misuse the money like that. Why? Because we shall not be able to serve the master properly. We need not a, we now need a lot of money for his maintenance. It is a joy to see how the young disciples of the master are serving him with heart and soul, and it is our duty now to look after this noble task so that it may not collapse from lack of money. After the master's passing away, Manmohan often visited Dakshineshwar and also Baranagar monastery, where the monastic disciples of the masters were then living. So, this much is that his devotion to Sri Ramakrishna was so much in him. Since Ramchandra Datta wanted to write a biography of Sri Ramakrishna, he sent Manmohan into the master's village home in Kamarpukur to collect information from people who had known him personally. Like Ram, Manmohan had an evangelical spirit, that means to spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna. And wherever he went, he would preach about the master. Sometimes he took a leave of the absence from his office and traveled to different cities and villages. Many people were stirred by his burning faith and exuberant devotion, and in course, he started centers at Ghatal, Jessore, Dhaka, Navadvip, and Murshidabad. He also wrote many inspiring articles for Tattva Manjari, a Bengali magazine published by Ramchandra Datta. So, Manmohan's family was a religious one, and Sri Ramakrishna was its central figure. With the master in his heart, Manmohan carried on all the duties of a householder. At first, his wife, Adhara Mohini, had not been in favor of his close association with the master, but eventually her attitude changed. During her worship, she would pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Master, I did not have an opportunity to receive initiation from you, but please do not give me up for that reason. Endow me with faith and devotion for you as my husband has. Give me strength so that I can be a true wife to him and a helper in his spiritual pursuit. One day, Manmohan overheard his wife's prayer and saw her crying. It moved him greatly and he felt the master's grace. He then realized the truth of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching that God makes everything favorable for a person who loves him. This same thing has happened with the life of Master Mahashaya. Once Master Mahashaya was in a very depressed state of mind because his wife was not mentally well. So he was very much worried about it. Then Sri Ramakrishna he was giving teachings about how to lead the spiritual life, living in a family like that. Then Master Mahashaya asked him, suppose if wife is not cooperating with the spiritual life, what shall I do? If she is an obstruction in the spiritual life, so one can renounce like that. Immediately thought he was mentally preparing something, Master Mahashaya. Then immediately Sri Ramakrishna says, if a person is having a real devotion, everything will be all right. Even the Raja or the officer who is above us, the boss and other things, everybody, wife and children, they will come under control. That is the test of our Bhagavan tests us whether you have got a sincere faith in him, in Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He gives that applies to the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna also. When we have so much devotion to him 100%, then all other things will come around. Here, in the case of Manmohan Mitra, in the initial stage, his wife was not in favor of Sri Ramakrishna, is going to Sri Ramakrishna. But later, she prayed to Sri Ramakrishna like this. It is a surprising when he overheard that this prayer of his wife, that she says, I did not have an opportunity to receive initiation from you, because by that time Sri Ramakrishna attained Mahasamadhi. But please do not give me up for that reason. Endow me with faith and devotion for you as my husband has. Give me strength so that I can be a true wife to him and a helper in his spiritual pursuit. That's why he says, he then realized the truth of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching that God makes everything favorable for a person who loves him. That is, one who loves God, all things will be favorable, but it takes time. As in the case of one Kalipada Ghosh, his wife was so much, Kalipada was a drunkard. He was not taking care of the family. When his wife came to Sri Ramakrishna, then Holy Mother, they blessed her, but it took about 12 years for change of his mind. Then he became a staunch devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, which we know later. Adar Mohini went with her husband on a pilgrimage to Puri and died there on March 20th, 1900, while Manmohan repeated the name of the Lord at her side. In the Jagannath temple at Puri, Manmohan had a vision of Sri Ramakrishna on the altar in the place of Lord Jagannath. This experience uplifted his soul and kept him above earthly grief and pain at the death of his wife. After this, Manmohan returned to Calcutta and passed his days talking about the Master and giving spiritual discourses. He also helped with the management of Yogodhyana, Ram's retreat house, where Kankurgachi it is there. Now it is a branch of the Ramakrishna Mutt. One of the Vice President Maharajis is staying there. On our request, he is also coming in the month of August and give Mantra Diksha here. Those who are interested can enroll in the office. So this Yogodhyana at the Kankurgachi, he helped in the management. Although he spent long hours at night in meditation, he would go out early in the morning to visit the devotees' homes which had been sanctified the blessed feet of the Master. Then he went to the Ganga for a bath. He had many visions and was most of the time in an ecstatic mood. He one day became overwhelmed when he had a vision of Sri Ramakrishna's smiling face in the shrine of Kankurgachi Yogodhyana. Once in his meditation, he saw Holy Mother as the goddess of fortune. Another day, while walking on a street in Konnagar, he saw a flock of white cranes slowly disappear in the blue sky. His mind soared to the infinite, beyond space and time, and he lost outward consciousness. Some of his neighbors carried him home. Manmohan had tremendous love and respect for the monastic disciples of the Sri Ramakrishna. When he heard of the Swami Vivekananda's death, he was broken-hearted, and he somehow sensed that he would not be living much longer either. So in 1903, after attending the first birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda at Belur, he returned home and never again got up from his bed. The doctor said that he had apoplexy, but according to Swami Premananda, Manmohan was immersed in yoga until the end. The last 3 days, he continuously repeated the name of Sri Ramakrishna. On the final day, January 30th, 1903, he lost his voice, but the devotees noticed that his lips were moving, and they started to repeat aloud the Lord's name for him. Immediately, the air on his body stood on end, his prana merged into the divine, and he was gone. That's how a devotee of God, they live their life. That's why whoever Sri Ramakrishna has touched, they have become gold. They become the diamond. So that what life of Manmohan, devotees like Manmohan Mitra teaches us is that renunciation does not merely mean giving up external duties. It means detachment of the art while faithfully discharging one's responsibilities. Sri Ramakrishna would often advise householders, perform your duties, but know that God alone is your own. He gives the classic example of a maid servant who served for the rich man's house and takes care of their property and their children also, thinking that her own children they are. But in her heart of hearts, she knows that that house doesn't belong to her. Similarly, we need to work. We are to discharge our duties properly. And then at the same time we can remember God. This is what the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna. Before that, unless a person takes sannyasa, he cannot realize God. Whereas Sri Ramakrishna shows that one can realize God even when a person is living in the family, but only he has to mentally renounce. One of the greatest contributions of Sri Ramakrishna was demonstrating that spiritual realization is possible for everyone. If you sincerely read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, or in Kannada, Sri Ramakrishna Vachana Veda, one can easily feel that, yes, I can also see God, I can realize God. By sincere prayer, only the earnestness is the needed. That if it is there, I can also progress in life. That idea comes. That's how Sri Ramakrishna made so simple spiritual life for common man. Before him, many believed that only monks could attain the highest truth. Through the devotees like Manmohan Mitra, the master, Sri Ramakrishna showed that one may earn a livelihood, raise a family, participate in society, and yet cultivate deep devotion and spiritual awareness. Manmohan became an example of this ideal. So he balanced duty and devotion, family life and spiritual aspiration, work and worship. So he has done his duty to the family. That's why later he became so immersed in the thought of God, always used to speak about Sri Ramakrishna or chant his name or meditate on him. Like that is later. Because all this happens because of his faith in Sri Ramakrishna. Though in the beginning he got hurt, he thought that he is a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, but Sri Ramakrishna did not praise him. Instead, he praised Surendra. We discussed yesterday. In front of devotees, he praised Surendranatha Mitra, but he thought that, oh, Sri Ramakrishna is only mentioning Surendra's name. He did not mention. That means he wanted Sri Ramakrishna to tell him that Manmohan also is a great devotee. That made him hurt. Afterwards, he stopped coming. Then Sri Ramakrishna sent messages through devotees, but even then he was not coming because his ego is so strong. It was. Then Sri Ramakrishna himself went there to meet him. Then he had to turn round and he became the more devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. There, later he served the devotees as when Sri Ramakrishna was hospitalized or taking the treatment at Kashipur garden. He also served Sri Ramakrishna day and night along with others and also contributed financially. Because when Sri Ramakrishna developed cancer, throat cancer, and he was moved first to Shampukur and later to the Kashipur garden, both monastic and householder disciples rallied around him. Householders contributed financially and practically. The younger disciple offered personal service day and night. At the time, fans were not there. They have to do physically that with the hand fan, they used to fan Sri Ramakrishna all day and night and used to there to serve by rotation. So Manmohan shared in anxiety, devotion, and service surrounding the master during this sacred period. It was a time of intense spiritual training for all the disciples. They learned selflessness, sacrifice, faith, and unconditional love. Following the Master's Mahasamadhi in 1886, many devotees faced a profound sense of loss, yet they also felt an inner responsibility. The Master's message had to be preserved and shared, so the householder disciples became custodians of memories and traditions associated with Sri Ramakrishna. They encouraged one another spiritually and supported the young monks who had embraced life of renunciation. That means Baranagar Mutt, when the young monks led by Swami Vivekananda, the Narendranath, so they all supported. What lessons we can learn from a devotee like Manmohan Mitra? Spiritual life is possible in the midst of worldly duties. Manmohan demonstrates that God can be remembered by living in active life. Sri Ramakrishna compared the ideal devotee to a maid servant in a wealthy house. She performs all her duties efficiently but knows inwardly that a real home lies elsewhere. Similarly, householders should perform their responsibility sincerely while keeping their minds fixed on God. Second one, holy company transforms life. One meeting with a God realized soul can alter the course of a person's destiny. Association with Sri Ramakrishna transformed Manmohan's outlook. Today we may seek holy company through scriptures, spiritual communities, association with monks and devotees, remembrance of great lives. That's how satsang, Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly makes prarthana or satsang, how to progress in spiritual life, prayer and holy company. Third one, faith must be strengthened through practice. Manmohan's devotion matured gradually. Faith grows through Shraddha, that's what? Prayer, repetition of God's name, meditation, selfless service, and regular spiritual discipline. Then simplicity is a great virtue. The master valued sincerity more than scholarship. A pure heart reaches God more quickly than a clever intellect burdened by pride. Manmohan embodied this simplicity. Sri Ramakrishna grieves that clever intellect like a that the bird which is flying high, where its mind is, it is on the dead bodies. So similarly, those who are highly intellectual people, they may be thinking that they are highly intellectual people. Their mind is always on kama kanchana. That's why, whereas a illiterate person may be, but if he has got devotion to God, he is far greater than that clever, intelligent person. Because Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is a simple life, simplicity incarnate. The Master's message is universal. Through his householder disciples, Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated that spirituality belongs to everyone. Whether monk or lay person, educated or uneducated, wealthy or poor, the divine goal remains accessible. This is what Sri Ramakrishna opened the floodgate of spiritual life for everybody. Whereas if you read the Vedanta Sara text, there in the beginning they mention, even to read the text, the Vedanta, do you know what are the conditions? 4 conditions they put. One is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. One should have that Viveka, discrimination faculty, what is real and what is unreal. Second, Iha Boga, Iha Para, that we are to, the desire for all this life or the next life, all we should renounce. This is the second condition. Third condition is that Shamadhi Shatka Sampattu, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Dharana, all these things we should have. Then only you will have that access to read the Vedantic texts. Then comes Mumukshatva. One should have that Mumukshatva, desire for liberation. Then when you have fulfilled all these qualities, then only you will be able to read the text. Whereas Sri Ramakrishna says, nothing is needed if you have got that desire to see God, that earnestness, Vyakulata, that is the only thing needed to lead a spiritual life. That's why here it is said the divine goal remains accessible to all, whether he is a monk or a householder or educated or uneducated or wealthy or poor. Then what is the relevance to the modern world? Today's modern world is characterized by speed, stress, computation and distraction. Many people feel that they have no time for spiritual life. Where this example of Manmohan Mitra challenges this assumption. He tells us, do your work sincerely, love your family responsibly, set aside time each day for prayer and meditation, seek holy company, remember God amidst all activities. This balanced approach is precisely what the modern society needs. That's why the greatness of Manmohan Mitra's life lies not in spectacular achievements but in quiet fidelity to the spiritual ideal. He teaches us that devotion need not withdraw from life. Faith can flourish amidst responsibilities, and God can be realized by those who sincerely seek Him. The lives of Sri Ramakrishna's householder disciples are lamps placed along the path for ordinary men and women. As we remember Manmohan Mitra's today, let us pray for the strength to follow his example. May we cultivate the faith of Manmohan, the devotion of the Master's disciple, and the spirit of surrender taught by Sri Ramakrishna. So, let us conclude with the Master's assurance: one can realize God if one has yearning. Cry to Him with a real cry. So, may that real yearning awaken in our hearts. This is only needed. In fact, yesterday only in one session, one class, I wanted to complete the Manmohan Mitras, but it is so exhaustive, I could not complete yesterday. Today, so we are these two classes that we have discussed about Manmohan Mitra. In the next class, we will discuss about Suresh Nath Mitra, where Sri Ramakrishna's, his life also very interesting. He was just like Girish Chandra Ghosh. He was also very ill reputation. He used to drink wine. He used to go to ill-famed places also. In spite of that, how he came to Sri Ramakrishna and become a great devotee, that we will discuss in the next class. Next Saturday, 5:45 to 6:30, we will discuss about Surendranath Mitra, the devoted householder who sustained the Ramakrishna Vivekananda movement. He used to contribute for Sri Ramakrishna's treatment at Kashipur. Later, when Sri Ramakrishna's after Samadhi, when Narendranath and others started the Baranagar monastery, he said, anyway, I was giving at that time some 100 rupees or something like that for the Ramakrishna's treatment. I will give, or exact amount I will tell you later. That money I will give it to you, so you all of you stay there together and do sadhana. Like that he told Narendranath. So that's why he is the one of the devoted householder who sustained the Ramakrishna movement. What we are seeing the Ramakrishna movement all over the world. These are all contributors for such movement, that of such a devoted life we will discuss in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.